Imagine an esport team, one of the best in the world, who dominates every aspect of the game, but we're seen as cursed when it's about reaching the top. Because when an opportunity is presented, when they're about to win everything every time they crumble at the very end. Let me tell you the story of the most dominant squad the European Splatoon scene has ever known. Alliance Rogue.
To the tower, Alliance Rogue! A orange popping off there on the stage.
Ah bah oui, évidemment. Qui d'autre que l'Alliance Rogue?
Indétrônable et invincible.
Alliance Rogue!
We've got this kind of like front runner of this one for sure, and that's going to be Alliance Rogue from France.
Yeah, totally.
Our story begins in France, after the release of Splatoon 2. Our protagonist Erza just joined Team Olive, one of the greatest squads in Europe. And honestly, at 15 years old, he already has a decent career. He won the European Championship in the previous game, so his future on Splatoon 2 should be bright. But when the French Championship is announced, none of his teammates can participate. Some have anti-gaming parents, and some couldn't afford the Switch. So our new friend is gonna need mates. Fortunately, his old bro from Splatoon 1, Gray, wants to play the tournament. Then let's go. They take 2 more decent players and sign up. The lineup's working well, they qualify and beat everyone to the semi-finals, where things are getting tricky, because on the opposite side of the stage there's Rising Moon, the last European champion. The set starts and we feel the level gap between the two squads. With 10 seconds left to play, Rising Moon has a lead of 54. What it means is that one member of Erza's team will need to ride the tower until it goes beyond the 53-point mark. Plus our heroes will have to push in overtime, so if they don't touch the tower for 10 seconds, or if one of Rising Moon's players climbs on the tower, they lose.
Il attendait, là il y a plus qu'un collègue qui montait dessus. Faut juste qu'un collègue qui monte dessus. Ah là là, on dit sa stratégie était bien pensée. Mais là, personne n'est là pour monter dessus. Attention, le checkpoint. Oh là là, 31.
They take the first game and just need one more to take the set. Rising Moon crumbles under the pressure. Erza's team manages to take the second game. After that, they move on to finals where they meet Firmament, who's clearly not as good as Rising Moon, so obviously they destroy them 3-0. I know I'm going pretty quickly over all of this even if it's a national tournament, but this lineup is not gonna go too far, because winning the French Championship allows them to participate in the Europeans. So Erza and Gray need to build a composition able to compete on an international level. Goodbye Anonymous Duo, you guys were great. Anyway, the first thing you do to build a nice squad is to make sure you have at least 2 brutes whose only obsession is to kill everyone. And we already have one of them. After all, our 2 protagonists complement each other. While Gray stays back, Erza is always moving forward to get kills. But that means they need one more savage. Luckily, there's a famous one who just came back from America, and his name is Kiver. Alright, now we have enough firepower, but adding another killing machine is not optimized. You don't play football with 10 strikers, no. They need a center, a patient player who will calculate every play. Speaking of which, there was one of them in Erza's former team, introducing Soren. So finally they have a lineup. Okay, right, but they still have no name. Well, for that, the YouTube channel Alliance Rainbow saves them. They sponsor them, and so they choose the name Alliance Rogue. Alright, we've got 4 talented players, a cool name. I think we're ready to go to the European Championship. The format for the competition is tough. Best of 3, single elimination brackets. You lose 2 games, you're out. Esport fans will probably jump out of their chairs right now. Usually in semi-finals, the format is at least best of 5 because a best of 3 doesn't guarantee that the best will win. But you know, Nintendo doesn't really care about that. Anyway, even if it's their first tournament together, they crush everyone, 2 against Russia and Spain. But then comes the German team, Backsquid. Now it's a different league, because in it we find Wassam, master of the bucket weapon class, Kaito, who competes with Kiver for the title of Shooter Goat, Echo, one of the best chargers in the world, and Majin. Germany is strong, but is also more organized than AR. They have a patient gameplay and it's very effective in LAN, when the opponent is more likely to make mistakes under the pressure. Inevitably, AR loses 1-2. They took a game because Backsquid made 1 mistake and lost the other 2 because they didn't make any. This loss is hard to forget because Germany was the enemy to beat. This finals was Firmament, the same one they crushed during the French finals. Their chance to lift their first trophy and by the same occasion go to this little tournament called the Worlds was there. For players who had everything going for them until now, this sucks.
Moi j'avoue que ça m'avait marqué parce que j'étais extrêmement déçu. J'étais encore jeune à cette époque. Après pour mes mates, j'avais pas l'impression qu'ils les avaient plus marqués que ça.
C'est la première fois de ma vie sur Splatoon que je perds et je me dis putain, je vais arrêter le jeu, tu vois. On était en Suisse, je reviens le lendemain chez moi, et je me dis, non, on peut pas finir là-dessus, tu vois, on peut pas finir là-dessus.
They won't end on this indeed. The pain of the defeat is strong and motivates them to work twice as hard. And it pays off. In 2018, they are part of the two top teams that dominate the scene. Ghost Gaming on one side for Erza and Sorin, and Kraken Paradise for Kiver and Grey. Every major is won by either of them. I won't name every tourney of course, but tell yourself that they were so strong, they could end up in the finals of majors. In the InkTV Open, one of the most important competitions of the year, they finished first and second. Another cool example is the Platinum Cup 5, a tournament where even top Japanese teams got invited. Japan is the strongest country by far, thanks to an endless reserve of prodigies. Like, you see this child? Yeah, he seems nice. Here's a clip of him 1v4ing the best players in the world.
No, he just goes straight up. Wait, that's not supposed to work! That is not supposed to work at this level! No, get quad! No! Melon quad!
He might be the main character.
Anyway, in this tournament, Ghost Gaming finished first, but look who ended in second place. Yeah, pretty good revenge. So when the next French championship comes, obviously our heroes come back together and obviously they crush everyone, with only one game dropped during the totality of their run. For the second time, they are qualified for the Europeans, like a sign that this time the win will be theirs. Everything is taking place in Paris. Hopefully, they will show us they're right. Thank God Nintendo changed the format. Now all the teams are divided into 4 groups. The winner of each group is qualified for the playoff. For AR, the group stage is a demonstration of strengths. Duo against Belgium and Italy. They qualify for the playoffs. For the semi-finals, Spain, the weakest team, faces Backsquid, whom you already know by now. Alliance Rogue fights Empire Gang, who represents Finland. But Empire Gang isn't just anyone, because I've talked to you about how AR members were part of the 2 best Western teams, but I haven't talked to you about their mates. Nike and Sendu both played for Ghost Gaming, while Plancho is maybe the MVP of Kraken Paradise. This Finnish team is scary and could very well become champion, just like Backsquids or Alliance Rogue. Game 1 is a complete storm. The Finnish squad confirms the expectations. But remember, Alliance Rogue plays at home, and the French crowd couldn't watch their heroes go down in front of their eyes. This game only encouraged them to be even louder. Thanks to the support of the nation, AR enters the flow. And they deliver.
They need to find the picks here to even they get the second checkpoint.
Wow, very strong right now from Alliance Rogue. Triple splat coming out from Kiver!
They need to, but they need to get rid of Kiver as well. And he just finds the splats in like all the situations. You can't find another one. They need to get to the zone. They can easily lock them out. That should be the kill.
Stop it.
Yeah. But no picks as of yet. Kala pushing in.
There's one. Erza gets a splat onto Kaldemar, looking for a second one. That does get there down. Nike goes down.
Yeah, he should just go back.
They're going to run away. 2-1. Alliance Rogue 3-1 will win that game.
You are the French team. You're on home soil. Do you have a message for your fans who've come out here to watch?
Merci à tous ceux qui nous supportent et on va faire de notre mieux pour prendre notre revanche aujourd'hui.
They meet Backsquids in the finals. It's the moment to get their revenge for last year, claim what's theirs. The European Champion crown. They just need to win 4 games before Backsquids. The set starts, but things don't go as planned.
On les explose. Donc KO. Et là, il y a un mec chez eux, Ben, qui dit ouais ma manette elle est déconnectée, tu vois.
Je me souviens, à un moment c'était sur Schellendorf, et dans celui-là on a dû rejouer la map plusieurs fois parce qu'il y avait toujours quelqu'un qui déconnectait de l'équipe allemande.
Je me rappelle encore de Sorin qui dit c'est bon, ça y est, laissez-nous jouer quoi.
It seems like today, AR is protected by a plot armor. A technical issue strikes Backsquids, and so our protagonists take the game 1 for free, fully hyped up by the French supporters, and with Backsquids struggling to get back into the set. Alliance Rogue is just unstoppable.
To get the lead, and they're going to be pushing forward now. There is the ending is coming up. Can they keep it going? Alliance Rogue 2-0.
It will definitely be as the timer sets. The barrier is back up, and game 3 goes to Backsquids. They are not done yet.
Alliance Rogue are going to count it down, and this is a win. 3-1 to Alliance Rogue in the grand finals of the European Championship.
And it's all
everything gets the double against kind of major, but then gets spotted right in front of the tower.
He has to pop it.
He has to win, he has to get on top of that into the tower. Alliance Rogue! Soren's popping off there on the stage. Backsquids, unhorsed, dethroned, defeated, put down.
Tight match.
Alliance Rogue. They took that first game, they were beaten back in the second, and they did not stop pushing forward and beating back the German squad. Backsquids defeated at last.
My next goal, I would say,
wanna get on floor?
Going to Los Angeles E3 next year.
Well, you're in LA now, so.
Yeah, I mean E3. European Championship.
The World Championship.
Yeah. I missed you time, no, I've heard.
They finally get their revenge and fulfill their dream. But at this very instant, they are not top 1 of the Western scene. The context is very different. While in 2018, Europe was clearly above North America, so finishing second meant being second in the Western scene. 1 year later, there is hardly any difference between the two continents, so our heroes still have something to prove coming into Worlds. 4 teams managed to qualify for the competition. First, there's Japan, the absolute favorites for the tournament. Like I said earlier, this country is ahead of the rest of the world. The question is not if they're going to win Worlds, but more how badly their opponents are gonna get beaten. Then there's Australia. Not much to say about them, it's a cursed country. Between the lag and the time zone, no one wants to practice against them. Everyone, including themselves, knows they won't win a single game. And then, coming from North America, there's FT1. They represent a clear threat. I said earlier that Europe and North America had more or less the same level, but it's not exactly true, because FT1 is clearly ahead of his continent. It's them that our heroes will need to beat to become the Western champion. To face those monsters, they prepare tirelessly for a month against the very best of the scene. That's what I would have said if the whole European scene hadn't decided to go on a break. The only option is to scream a team named Astral, definitely not world-class level, for 4 months. But what's amazing about LAN is that no matter how good or bad your preparation is, it all comes down to how you perform on the big day. This D-Day for AR was the 8th of June 2019 at the Los Angeles E3 Convention Center, and it begins with the group stage. I'm gonna rapidly go over this phase because it's just for seeding, plus the result was predictable. Japan will destroy everyone and so get the 1st seed. Australia will get demolished by everyone and so get the 4th seed. Therefore, no matter what happens, the bracket will look like this. Japan versus Australia on one side and North America versus Europe on the other. Alliance Rogue and FT1 did fight each other. It was 1 game in turf war. Doesn't mean much when you know how bad the mode is. And FT1 won. It's not a problem. Like I said earlier, it doesn't change anything for the final bracket, but as a stressful sign for protagonists. And so the playoff begin. In the first semi-final, Japan gives a second tutorial of the game to the Australian, but then Alliance Rogue and FT1 climb on stage. It's the moment where our heroes will know if their month of preparation were valuable or not. It's the match that decides who will be first in the Western scene. The format is best of 5, first to 3 map wins, and each game counts.
You to be more aggressive here. A little one-on-one action here. Shaq getting the best of that. Trying to see Win is now taking the lead. They're at the first checkpoint. However, they get dislodged. They're back on the tower. Oh, almost about to clear that checkpoint, but Kiver with a nice double splat 9. Stopping the advances of Alliance Rogue. Now let's see if they can boost their score. How about Ice? Win trying to close the door on this match. Kiver trying to get him off the tower. It's a battle. It bleeds everywhere. The ink is going everywhere with the super jump back. Wow. How about FT1 surviving that storm at the end right there, 9. Look at that.
Contre nous, eux, ils étaient plus une équipe défensive qui punissait énormément les erreurs adverses, alors que nous, on était vraiment une équipe très agressive. Et quand nos plays individuels ne marchaient pas forcément, ça pesait un peu sur le mental.
J'étais en larmes tellement j'étais stressé, tellement il y avait la pression. C'est potentiellement un des moments les plus stressants de toute ma vie.
The aggressive playstyle of AR is not working. The next mode is Clamdist, and it couldn't happen at the worst moment. It's the most complex among all of them, because unlike the others, the objective is everywhere. Here, Clam spawns on the whole map, and you need to gather 10 of them to make a super Clam, which you can throw in the opponent's basket. And only now can you score points by throwing more Clams at the basket. The only 2 maps they dropped in the European Championship were in this mode, against a team as good as FT1. It would take an exceptional performance to take this game.
Everything was used right there. Gray is going to get the score, and they're going to jump somebody in.
Gray actually with 4 FT1 members in there. They're 1 clam away here tonight, and they have the chance for Alliance Rogue. They've broken the barrier.
It's close.
Go some more clams. They seize the lead from FT1 with 38 seconds left. There's only 1 FT1 member left. hanging back right there. And that'll do it. Alliance Rogue seizing control of this match.
1-1, AR can breathe. The next game is zones. Here the objective isn't too hard to explain. It's a zone, you play it to control it and score points, then you try to maintain the lead. It's their favorite mode, so it's now or never to take the advantage.
They're waiting until the exact right moment to use their Stingray. He'll get styled on a little bit there.
Wait to see two more other players right up there. Here comes the baller. Oh, and there's Mayhem in the middle here, 9. Oh my goodness, right over overtime, and they don't. Penalty erasing. They've got to hold the tower for 13 seconds. Can they do it? Here comes FT Win. Can they apply any pressure? Alliance Rogue with that huge cover behind victory. And as the sands of time almost run out, Alliance Rogue able to hold their position, and they steal a game from FT Win.
2-1, Alliance Rogue are at match point, one game away from officially being first in the Western scene. And yet at that moment, it feels like a 2-2 for them, because the fifth map is Starfish Tower.
Cette map, on était en mode ok, si ça va à la 5ème game, on a perdu parce que cette map on était très mauvais.
It was the only map they were losing against Astral in practice, so there was no way they could win. But like their true opponent was Fate, at the most important moment of their career, they make a crucial mistake right on the selection screen. They pick a terrible comp. Erza switches to Rapid, a midline weapon, so what that means is that AR only has one brute, in the most aggressive mode, Rainmaker. Will FT win reset mentally after this comeback from the last game? Will Alliance Rogue overcome their comp handicap?
They are very familiar with each other. Earlier, Milano was talking about Kraken Paradise and Team Olive, the two teams that kind of formed this. Those two teams, along with FT Win, have been battling at the top of the European North American leagues for ages right now. Seen here, last year at this time, it was a dominant weapon. As Shaq comes over and says, what are you talking about? I'm playing. But they've waited a little bit too long, and they've allowed Shaq to move up here. If he gets one more pick, that might have been it, and they do get some more points out of it. And Ray is going to grab it here, and Shaq actually 102v1 there to slow that one down.
That's huge right there. Shaq getting the advantage. Shaq trying to escort the Rainmaker. Dude, he's got a chance, but no.
And the fact that a couple of them are kind of going down in odd situation is Rainmaker up for grabs. All they have to do is just secure it or leave it alone. They've got it covered, and that'll do it. Let's go to a game 5 here, y'all. FT Win getting the victory.
FT Win equalizes. AR can win in the most clutch situations, but today, at this game 5, they were out of miracles. They lost. Again on the set when it mattered most, just one little game away from that goal. And it hurts.
Là, c'est encore gravé dans ma mémoire le moment où je pars. Kiver qui essaie de me rassurer, mais juste moi qui est déçu, frustré, triste.
It also hurts because it's the last time these four will play together. Soren has to travel to Japan for work, and finding a player able to replace him just doesn't exist. Does it?
-2 d'un coup. Et il marque. -2, plus super pas lourd dans le panier. Alexei. C'est un changement que eux en tout cas voient comme étant extrêmement positif. Pour en avoir discuté avec eux, ils pensent vraiment être plus forts. D'accord. Avec Alexei.
Alexei, a sniper player, joins Alliance Rogue. For those who have a spider instinct, he was playing with Astral, whom Alliance Rogue practiced against for Worlds.
Et on était en mode putain, sa team est nulle, mais lui il est vraiment fort.
The arrival of Alexei enables AR to win even more firepower thanks to the long-range pressure a sniper player applies, while not losing stability because he knows when to back up and prepare the defense. Turns out taking him was the right decision, because they started winning a lot. The AR of Alexei is 3 majors, with only max 1 game dropped in finals, including one where they beat FT Win in the semi-finals. Funny how things work out. It's cool to dominate online, but now it's time to prove themselves in LAN, in the French Championship. Not a problem for them. The transition is seamless and they win the competition without breaking a sweat. Before the final began, the caster asked Gray if he was worried because the level had stepped up since last year. Gray calmly told him that they also stepped up, and so it didn't matter much. Though he is right to be confident, because this lineup is strong enough to beat Europe, strong enough to beat America, and fuck it, let's dream further, maybe strong enough to beat Japan and become world champion.
The coronavirus is the biggest threat this country has faced for decades.
The number of daily infections has risen above the 30,000 mark.
This week, 13 states saw a record number of cases, 15 states a record of hospitalizations.
Because of COVID-19, every competition in real life got cancelled. With no goals left, Alexei and Erza decided to leave. The state of the game was also complicated, with the meta being a total snooze fest. If you're asking, they didn't move for the rest of the game. We saw Grey transitioning to Valorant to make sure Alliance Rogue's comeback was impossible. Splatoon 2 was dying, leaving behind a story full of regrets.
I'm not. It's not gonna be anything. Yep, nope, no Splatoon. I just made money. Let's go. $5. Look at some random ass game. Wait. Oh, wait.
To everyone's surprise, a new Splatoon game came out. Top teams from the previous game quickly established themselves, and so everyone expected a grand comeback of Alliance Rogue, and nah. In the meantime, Alexei got called out for transphobia. Unfortunately, the attempts of AR to replace him were a complete disaster. Their best try by far was with Jade, a talented sniper player who seemed destined to become the Alexei of Splatoon 3. Though in the most important tournaments of 2023, the PGW Major, which gathered the best teams in France, they fell in the semi-finals on the score of 1-3. This counter performance was surprising considering they had 3 players with a lot of experience and a composition similar to what they had on Splatoon 2. Except that we are not on Splatoon 2 anymore. While everyone understood that what mattered in this game was the fast playstyle, the fancy movements and the quick aim, Alliance Rogue was still stuck on that slow and methodical playstyle, still playing with the charger, in short, playing Splatoon 2 on Splatoon 3. It seemed like the Alliance Rogue everyone admired was in the past. They needed a player who could change their whole dynamic, someone whose playstyle would perfectly fit what Splatoon 3 requires, someone who can constantly break the enemy's line, a true playmaker. And after months of scouting the French scene, they find him. The perfect match.
Oh my god! Oh. Jump.
Bro, suck my fucking balls, please.
We're better. I'm the main character! That's fucking it. That's why you don't fucking score, you fucking brain-dead ass motherfucker.
Volty joins Alliance Rogue. The weapon she plays is the Carbon Roller. It's a weapon that excels at close combat, but with a limited range and mobility. When you have a Carbon Roller with you, you need to play around him so he can move up. AR perfectly understands that and decides to run a Neo Splash, a weapon that can spam the special ink strikes, 3 throwable tornadoes that cover a lot of space and paint the ground. The tornadoes act as a smokescreen for Volty to move up in it. It's a pain in the ass to fight. Moreover, it enables AR to go from the slowest top squad to the most aggressive one, and the composition shows very promising results in practice. But now it's time to transition to real tournaments. Fortunately, the InkTV League announced its comeback. Rapidly, what's the InkTV League? Well, it's the 8 best squads in the Western scene divided into 2 groups. Each week, 2 teams from the same group fight each other, and when all matches are done, the top 2 of each group move on to the playoffs. A single elimination bracket where we decide the grand victor of the major. This is the most competitive tournament in the history of Splatoon, for 2 reasons. Firstly, the participants are not chosen randomly. To qualify for this league, you need to finish in the top 4 of one of the 2 qualifier tournaments. Secondly, the format, which has never been seen before. Inspired by fighting games, you need to win 2 rounds to take the match, and each round is a best of 3, where you need to win 2 games. It's like a best of 3 or best of 3. So to recap, we have a huge tournament where the king of the Western scene will be crowned, and AR finally has a lineup able to stand a chance against the very best. What that means for protagonists is that the quest for the Western Champion title is back on the board. Alliance Rogue qualifies for the competition without dropping a game. Their bracket was easy, to be fair, though in the actual league they are given the toughest pool. Let's remember, they need to finish second. But it won't be easy because their opponents are the underdogs of the league, Penguins, very inexperienced, yet they showed impressive results thanks to their aggressive playstyle. Their leader is Promano, who still has AR's blood on his shoes from the PGW Major. Then we have Graveyard Shift, a team that perfectly understands what Splatoon 3 requires. Their comp relies on a duo, composed of Zeras, a swap player obsessed with playing as fast as possible, supported by Orion, a duelist player who is even faster than him. Their distinctive style has proven successful, securing them the number 2 spot in Europe. Then we have Starburst, and we'll talk about them when the time comes, because the first 2 matches of AR, and by extension, the most important ones, are against Penguin and Graveyard. Winning against both will mean a direct qualification for the playoffs. The match against the underdogs is smooth. They win the first round 2-0 and the second round 2-1. The second match, however, had much more at stake. Firstly, because winning means they would be qualified for the playoff, but also because there was some trash talk before the set.
What do you think about Obito saying and claiming that he's the best player in the world?
Kiver is not my rival because we don't have the same level.
Gotta appreciate the taunting between ex-teammates since Obito was playing with them around the end of Splatoon 2. AR takes the first round with the solid 2-0. They play simple yet effective gameplay, waiting for mistakes, playing for specials, while Graveyard struggles to organize a coherent offense. Though the second round goes in favor of Graveyard, in the first game they won by less than a second. To explain it, under special conditions after 5 minutes, overtime is triggered, where the opponent has 30 more seconds to take the lead back. The time you have is indicated by how much color there is left in this box. And here you can see there wasn't much left. But Graveyard doesn't stop there. AR is completely dazed by the last game and they get destroyed in the second.
Orion's able to follow up here and is able to find yet another one. There's the extra few clams and there's the knockout.
It all comes down to this set to decide if they will qualify for the playoffs.
With Volty gonna be sharking under every able to do so much for Alliance Rogue here, and now there's no one left to diving in. Almost finds one on the star, but there's the crab tank that comes out. The Wavebreaker goes out, trying to lock Orion down, but because then Orion and Zera's just went up the left side and were able to capitalize and try to do that beautiful pick from Zera.
He might not have the ability to control the zones. They do for a brief moment, getting that back, but Volty shreds the foil. Maintain their slot here and move on to playoffs.
AR qualifies for the playoffs, but they still have one match left to play, and it's against Starburst. Our heroes now face a completely different level. At that time, Starburst does not dominate the scene, they own it. They haven't lost yet. 32 sets played, 32 sets won. Just 20 days before this match, they won the North American Championship without dropping a single game. Yep, on paper, our heroes don't stand a chance. That's also what the caster prognosis confirms. 2 votes for AR against 9 in favor of Starburst. There isn't much at stake in this match anyway, they're already qualified for the playoff. But for our protagonists, it's a chance to prove themselves. They got a quest to fulfill, and who knows, maybe they can
on in a moment, but finally, someone was able to drop on top of the Rainmaker, and Starburst will take the first set in this match.
Yeah, it's a hard snap back to reality for AR. They lose the first round and begin the next set in 0-1. Starburst is just too strong. Maybe they will be luckier in the playoffs. After all, they are just not meant to win against the very best. Except that when you've been failing to get first for 4 years and we tell you that you will have to wait for your time again, there is a moment where you have had enough and you decide to fight back. In the second round, AR wakes up.
Thank out from Kiver. Ray throws this power clam underneath the basket. They're going for like 2 clams into the opponent's basket. It's all Alliance Rogue.
Incredible, they managed to win the second set, but there is a limit to the shonen spirit. They lose the first game of the next set. There is no room for errors anymore. The next game is far from being better. Starburst still has the lead and the control with 10 seconds left to play. But Volty clutches. AR takes the lead back in overtime. It all comes down to this one spell zone game to decide whether they win or whether all their efforts were in vain.
Joined by Ray. Ray, first, just give me your reactions after that whole match. Shoo!
Alliance Rogue is the first team to beat the invincible Starburst. They come into the playoffs as the first seed. Their dream to become the Western champions is becoming a reality. They encounter the second seed of America in the semi-finals, Crush Soda. It's a clean duo. Then in the finals, they meet an unexpected opponent, Jackpot, who was able to upset Starburst. Presumably, this is a good thing. AR used to dominate Jackpot in practice. Even if Alliance Rogue won against Starburst, they still gave our heroes a hard time. It's their opportunity to claim the title, and it was a total disaster. They were so close to their dream, yet so far. They only managed to win 1 game out of the 5 played. It wasn't just luck from Jackpot, they kept beating our heroes in the finals of big tournaments in the following month. But it's not so bad. AR regained their position in the top 3 of the Western scene. Their lineup works. And if they're able to take games from Jackpot online, who knows, maybe they can beat them in a different setup. In LAN, for example. Nintendo announces the comeback of Worlds. The first step is qualification at home for the French Championship. It shouldn't be hard, AR is by far the best in Europe. The only menacing opponent is Omniscient, a mix of Omniscient, the team that beat them in semifinals in the PGW Major, and Prominence, the ones that Omniscient meant in the finals. They wouldn't have been a threat if Nintendo hadn't decided to put their 2 cents in.
Malheureusement, on se fait baiser sur la méta.
Basically, in this patch, 2 specials, Cooler and Inkjet, got buffed. At the time, there were only 2 decent weapons with these specials, so that meant that every meta composition needed to run a ballpoint for the Inkjet and a zap for the Cooler. Erza decides to get rid of the Inkjet problem by choosing to switch to ballpoint, but including a zap in AR's composition is hard. Let's remember, they already have a Neo Splash as the support weapon to help Volty, and zap is also a support weapon. Running double support would mean not respecting the true brute rule, so they decided not to play Cooler. But you know, it's not a big deal, it's not like the special had any broken effects. And we see the impact of this patch on our protagonist. In the major called In the Zone, the seed 15 kicks them into the loser brackets. Wow, I don't know who this Titty guy is, I should probably do a video about him. Anyways, our heroes slowly adapt to the meta, and when the qualifier tournament for the French Championship arrives, they meet Omniscient in the finals and beat them 3-1. As expected in real competition, they beat everyone to the semifinals, not dropping a single game on the way. But when they arrive at finals, everything gets way tougher. Omniscient takes the first game. AR responds with a strong performance from Volty to get the second.
Sur le dernier point, mais ça va pas suffire. Oh là 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 là, l'enchaînement. Oh la
They dominate the vast majority of the third one, but make a mistake at the end, leading to a crucial loss.
La deuxième
1-2. AR has to wake up because the set is in best of 5 and they can't afford to lose another game. Volty again goes on a kill streak to enable AR to take a strong lead, but they get wiped at the last minute. If Omniscient gets past 24, it will be the end of the journey for our heroes.
Omniscient, on le rappelle, il joue pour le titre sur cette manche et il s'approche pour le moment. Xerxes qui continue les trimissiles, il n'y a plus personne.
Ils n'ont jamais été aussi proches.
Il n'y a plus personne du côté de Omniscient. Oh, c'est ce qu'il y a Volty derrière qui vole le stand mobile.
AR forces a game 5, but the set is far from over, because the next map is My Zones, and it's known for being somewhat bad for Carbon, the weapon of Volty. But AR still has one last card to play, and that card comes from the bottom of the tier list.
Erza me dit, joue Anaki Nova. Moi je me dis, frère, c'est nul à chier, arrête, tu vois. Ça ne nous aide pas à jouer Carbon, mais Inkjet, c'est réel. Inkjet, c'était le meilleur spécial du jeu avec couleur. Et frère, on joue contre Starburst, Jackpot, on n'arrive pas à perdre.
On notera que Grey, il est passé au lanceur spatial, et c'est à noter, c'est pas forcément une arme qu'on voyait beaucoup jusqu'à maintenant.
Volty, début de la gamme, il shark à gauche, et il tombe dans l'eau. Erza pop Inkjet, et Erza se fait tuer en Inkjet. Et j'étais en mode, ah, on a perdu.
Despite a very bad start, the double Inkjet strategy enables AR to push Omniscient back, and even start a strong advantage.
Et pour l'instant, elle lance Rogue qui a repris le contrôle de cette zone. Ils sont en plus bien avancés, on le voit avec 2-3. Zinkling qui pour l'instant pris les positions hautes.
They managed to hold it, and with 20 points left on the zone, they just have to win this team fight to take the tournament.
Moi je suis bottom gauche, et je vois Erza à travers les murs là, je le vois aller derrière eux. Du coup, j'imagine, je suis avec Kiver, et je dis, Kiver, go pan, Erza il a un play, tu vois.
Cette pénalité du côté de Promiscience, ils se font liquider, ils n'y arrivent pas pour le moment. Le jet, peut-être, oui, le kill, et la
Ça y va tout droit, l'élimination. Ça y va tout droit. Ça y va tout droit. C'est la victoire. Champion de France, l'Alliance Rogue. Allez, vous pouvez sauver vos trophées.
Allez, on est
champion de France, l'Alliance Rogue.
En soi, c'était un rêve de gosse, comme on dit, parce que bon, j'ai vu beaucoup de joueurs gagner la compétition, beaucoup de personnes que je côtoyais ont gagné la compétition, et je me suis toujours dit, peut-être qu'un jour ce sera enfin moi, tu vois.
Winning the French Championship is nice, but their objective is Worlds, and before that they need to defend their title in the Europeans. The practice is not ideal, with Jackpot notably dodging them for scrims. Moreover, they don't know it yet, but their strategies have been leaked to the German team just one day before the event. It's an important detail considering the threat that they represent. Indeed, in 4 years not much has changed. The two favorites are still France and Germany, represented by Kaiser, a fusion of old and new generation talents. Play 0 The Slayer prodigy bought the game 1 year ago, but is already playing on an international stage. Imagine a backstreet player who has the intention to take his revenge for 2019 and take his second title. Then there's Mika, maybe the best support player with Zap in the Western scene. But what would be this lineup without Zeraz, the best Western player? Like a sign, they also won their national championship 3-2 like AR. The competition is going to be tough. Though the level of AR on the day of the event is reassuring. That group stage is smooth. On their side of the bracket, Kaiser fights Poland, and they do this.
This game, what are you gonna see right now?
The historical jokes made in chat that day about a certain period of history were wild. Day 1 was fun, wow, we flexed on weak regions. Alright, now it's day 2, the moment where you play with your life on the line, where each game takes you closer or further from your dream. Germany and France fight each other in the semis. For our heroes, it's much more than a Splatoon match. The only thing that keeps Erza and Kiver playing the game is going back to Worlds. The dream of Volty is to become European champion, and for AR as a whole, it's their only chance to officially fulfill their goal. Only because they know there isn't going to be a second Splatoon 3 World Championship. There is no way Nintendo organizes one. Long story short, it's their last chance. If they win 3 games against Germany, they are crowned European champions and go back to Worlds. So on the side of AR, we plug in our controllers, we take a deep breath, and we play with our life on the line. Alliance Stroke starts well, taking the first points, but like I said earlier, Tough War is a mode of its own. The wise man once said that a set of Splatoon restarts on the pro modes.
We got an early inkjet coming out about 10 seconds in, but they get splatted mid-air.
They're so close to ending it. As Zero pushes forward, nice shot from Scar.
Really far.
It's over. It has to be. There it is.
Alliance Stroke drops a game, but there's something even more concerning about this loss. AR strategy relies a lot on Erza's inkjet to make space for the Slayers, because inkjet is both a powerful and mobile tool. An inkjet is tough to kill while it's midair, yet it happened 4 times to Erza throughout the game. So even if the next game is on Hagglefish, Erza's favorite map, the future is uncertain for our heroes.
Kaiser staying in control. We got the sucker bomb coming out, trying to get a little bit of zone pressure. Bro, keep contesting this zone. And there comes out the beautiful zip caster play into the splat. 3 seconds left. Kaiser remaining in control of that zone.
They need to just do a little bit more to hold the line. Seems like one of our players just has a quick moment. So
Il y a un problème technique qui est vrai, hein, parce que j'ai vu des gens dire qu'on montait parce qu'on perdait. Non. Erza avait du motion drift sur sa manette.
Motion drift. The nightmare of any Splatoon player. This controller issue causes uncontrollable spinning with no fix. Erza noticed something was wrong at the first interaction, but he wasn't sure if stopping the game would result in an instant loss. So now I want you to imagine yourself as an AR member. You're on the verge of getting upset. The strategy you've been practicing for months isn't working. A technical issue strikes, something that should have been fixed 4 years ago. Would you be able to stay composed as you see the trophy slowly slipping out of your hands? But are you a champion? Erza switches back to frontline. It was time to bring it back.
please give it up one more time for your teams. Alliance Row versus Team Kaiser. And their opponents.
Looking like a beautiful splat right there. Double splat as well for the team.
Into the front. They're making their way all the way up top. Just a little bit more to go. There's loads of pressure, but it says get back, hold control. They've won the game. They've done what they needed to do. Alliance Row.
AR forces a game 5, but this time it's on Mako Mart, the best carbon map in the game. Kaiser's best player is forced to switch his weapon. Alliance Row strategy works. They find a good push with 1 minute 30 to play. The counter push of Kaiser is contained. Volty kills 1 in overtime. Alliance Row has 2 specials online. The only thing left to do is stand up and celebrate.
They got it! Kaiser! Kaiser win! The German audience on their feet. They do it. They can't believe it. Alliance Road, the European.
Et je l'avais dit, à l'AR, c'est soit on rebondit et on est plus fort que jamais, soit c'est mort.
After this loss, AR never happened to rise up once again. When they came back to online majors, they started to counterperform. 0-3 against the 5th seed of America, 1-3 against the 2nd team of Germany. At this point, they needed to step back, and so they decided to play the EBTV League, a competition they stopped participating in because they have already won it about 9 times. Their first match was against some Europeans called Please Forfeit. Nothing to worry about, right? This was by far their worst loss. most of the games were more than winnable. Like for example, in game 4, AR still has the lead in the last 10 seconds, and as you can see with this icon, Kiver has his special. It's very relevant because in tower control, there's a technique called GG strikes. You just wait in a safe place to throw each strike one at a time at the tower, so the opponents can't touch it and trigger overtime. Kiver uses it with 10 seconds left to play. AR gets wiped and please forfeit comebacks. If these types of errors are rarely seen at top level, for AR it's just not possible. So even if I was happy because I was on the enemy team, when I watched this clip of Volty at the end of the game, it was just heartbreaking. This match was too much for AR. Losing at home against straight up randoms made the squad explode. This time was definitely the end of the Uncrowned Kings of Splatoon. So our question today is how? How was a team with such talent not able to become first even after 6 years of effort? It's pretty simple, their behavior as people wasn't right. Between trash talk behind the back, the ego from each player that prevented change, it's impossible to perform well at such a level consistently. And I think there's a lesson to be learned from this story. Whatever you're trying to succeed in, there's a point where it doesn't come down to your raw skills, how much you practice, but just you. Maybe you have too much ego and you can't take criticism, or on the other side, you don't have enough confidence to make your own choices. If I had a conclusion for anyone who watches this, before improving in anything, start to improve as a human. It may be hard and the road may be tough at some point, but in the end, that's the only way you can reach any of your dreams.